Hey everybody, we are here live. Tonight I am lucky enough to be with Alex Moss. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. If you guys can send me some love and just make sure you guys can hear us okay, and if you're getting any feedback, let me know. That'd be great. But we're just going to kind of keep going. So Alex,
I haven't done a lot of stuff with Be Live before, so is it kind of like interactive? We can see when people are commenting on the screen, and I've done a lot of webinars, but I haven't done too much with Be Live. So
yeah, no, it's cool. You can actually see their comments and stuff as they come along.
Awesome! I'm going to have to get into this. Matthew Turner, there we go. I can see a message. Audio.
There we go. Thank you. So there's like a little bit of a delay, but it happens. So for those of you who don't know, Tony Moss is the creator and founder of what happened?
Alex Moss.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alex Moss, Tony Moss. Alex Moss, sorry, is the creator. It's late. I'm sorry.
That's cool. That's cool.
Creator and founder of Tactical Arbitrage. It is a phenomenal piece of software. It essentially like scrapes data, right? And you can find pricing discrepancies between Amazon products and products within the retail realm. So it's a really amazing software. We use it and we really like it. And so he's with us all the way from Australia. So thank you very much. And I know you said you had your kids running around and getting all that settled. So I understand.
We've got them into school. Like our littlest one is just turned 3, and today she was giving me the whole, I don't want to go to daycare, and I was like, it was breaking my heart because I didn't want to send her, but we kind of have to send her because it's that whole social thing. You want to get them into that environment and space and get them comfortable. But today she was really clingy, and I don't like making her go and do something when she doesn't want to do it. But anyway, she's there now. I've checked in a couple of times. And
I'm the mean mommy. That was me 20 minutes ago, playing the mommy monster, getting her in her pajamas. And she's, our daughter's almost 2. So she's like hitting the terrible 2s. But I love that age. It's so funny.
No idea until they turn 3. The real terrible level is yet to come. But
no.
But you love every second of it, don't you? It's fantastic.
I do. And I think that's the benefit of what we're doing, is being able to, kind of make work revolve around our home life as opposed to the other way around. So I'm very grateful for that.
And that's one of the reasons that Tactical Arbitrage came into existence, because when I first got into the space, I was like, okay, let's, I was introduced to this by a friend, and we had a new baby, and
right.
I was like, I needed to bring in some extra kind of income, and I was doing fulfillment by Amazon sales, and I was like having to go to a website like Target that had some sales on and whatnot, and I'd cut and paste the title of the UPC, and I'd take that over to Amazon, and I'd paste it again, and I'd be sitting in front of that office, in front of that computer screen all day long, just to get a couple of pages worth of analysis. And I thought, I'm not getting to spend any time with my family here. There's got to be a way that I can automate this process. It turns out that simple sentence was much harder than I could ever imagine. But
it always is.
But once I get something in my head, I kind of have to see it through. And it took a lot of months and a lot of developers. We had to throw a lot of developers away along the way because they just weren't managing to fulfill the vision that I had in a way that was functional. And eventually we got the right network of people together, and something started to evolve that was usable. And from there, I realized I was able to start spending a bit more time with family as a consequence of being able to set these automated scans. And at the end of the day, what's happened is I've helped a lot of people get some time back, but now I'm running this Tactical Arbitrage company. I'm stuck in the damn office again.
I know.
You
got to find a way to get out. Well, yeah. That's a good lead-in, because I know there are people that, maybe they haven't heard of Tactical Arbitrage, or they don't know exactly what it is. So can you give us a kind of an in-depth explanation of what it is?
Okay. So now it's kind of several things, but originally the concept was primarily based around online arbitrage. So from an online arbitrage point of view, it's going to, let's say, let's talk about a single retail store like Walmart, finding some things that are priced competitively, that when flipped into your FBA account, after Amazon takes their fees, you see a certain amount of profit or return on investment. Now, we escalated that, so now there's close to 600 sourcing stores that you can find deals from. And what you would sensibly do is look for stores that currently have promotions on, and isolate those promotions and target those. Look for those profitable opportunities. Make your buying decisions based on that, and populate your FBA account from those purchases. But it evolved, and so tactical arbitrage is not only for online arbitrage now, but in a very loose sentence that we can go into more later, it also is useful now as a wholesaling tool, and for Amazon to Amazon flips, which is buying from Amazon and selling back on Amazon again.
Wow, yep. Mm-hmm.
Reverse searching, which is taking a list of Amazon products and then checking all of our 600 stores to see if any of those stores currently are selling that and if they're on sale at the moment. So that's a really popular feature. And we're expanding into other areas as well. So it's a never-ending growth for tactical arbitrage, but certainly fun to create, and fun when something new works in the system.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is kind of maybe a silly question, but so you have this extremely powerful tool. I mean, we've used it and we love it. Why did you decide to share it and sell it? Why didn't you just keep this for yourself when you knew it worked so well?
Conceptually, it was always for myself. And what happened is at some point my father got really sick, and I realized I couldn't run my own FBA account very well because I needed to prioritize and spend time with my father. And I also had these developers sitting there asking what task would I like them to do next. So I kind of said, this is a huge task. I know it will be enormous for you guys to create this, but my focus needs to be with my father right now. So just spend all your time making this a multi-userable platform. And they put in the weeks and the months to make sure that it was working and functional, and this person's data wouldn't trip over this person's data. And they made this monster that functioned, which would allow many people to use it. And eventually my father passed away, sadly, and that was a difficult time for us. But when I came out the other side of that, I realized that it was time to get back into work, and we had this creation there now, which not only I could experience and enjoy, but anybody else would be able to as well. So we released it to the public, and the rest is kind of history. We had a lot of positive. Sorry, I'll have to shut that down because I'm getting pinged.
Or like pinging. Yeah, I was pinging too.
Yeah.
Plugged in all the time.
Message after message after message after message, But we launched it at the Rocky Mountain Resellers Conference in 2016, and I'm pleased to say I'm attending that again in a couple of weeks' time. So it's time to do that massive 17-hour flight again to go there. It's going to
be rough.
So I just get off that plane exhausted, and the first thing those guys want to do when they see me is like, "Hey, come on, let's go grab a beer." And I'm like, I just want to sleep.
You got to rally. I know.
Yeah.
Well, one of the other questions is, I know you said 600 stores, and is that? I'm assuming it's growing. You're constantly adding stores. How accurate is the pricing and the discrepancy with the scanning?
The pricing. Do you mean like how accurate is the
data? Like how accurate is the data?
We've got multiple options in tactical arbitrage. You can either get live data, which is that data which is taken from the very second that you scan, which will get the pricing, the title, the UPC if it's present, whatever it needs to try and make that match on Amazon. Or if and that's a reasonably I call it slow, but looking at each product taking about 2 to 3 seconds each, to me these days is slow, because there's an option as well that if you're happy to select a cached scan, which means let's say some other user has done a live scan of that page in the most recent day or the last couple of days. You can set it to cache and say, I'm willing to have a look at anything that is in cache less than, say, 2 days old. And those you'll get like, I think is it 100 items per 10 or 10 items a second. So it's results are coming in bang, 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 bang. So you can quickly analyze whether or not there's anything useful rather than going through one by one. But there's also good to take the live option sometimes too, because then you get that up to the second, just in case there's been a shift in the pricing or whatnot based on a sale or, etc. So there's strategies involved in using the software, and there's ways to use the software so that you're getting a significant amount of results in a short space of time for you to analyze. And then, of course, you can run additional searches in the background while you're sorting through the data that you have been provided. So you're not limited. You don't have to wait over here for this to complete before you can start trolling through the data and seeing what's useful.
Okay. Well, we have a question. How are you? I guess arbitrage software. How are you different?
So I'm one of the first to enter the space. There was another piece of arbitrage software that came into the space actually while I was developing tactical arbitrage, but it's a very different piece of software. They use a Chrome extension, whereas mine's a web portal. I actually really like the guys that run that. We sat down and had several beers together. We're all quite friendly about it. I won't do a direct comparison with anybody else out of respect for the other companies in the space. But I would like to say that one thing that I pride myself on is really listening to members. So tactical arbitrage has evolved a lot from my own headspace, but also from the suggestions of the members and the users, because in a real world use environment, every single member is different. And what I might do to operate my FBA account may be something completely different to what another subset of users has their own methods and things. And so I'll take this feedback and I add it to this manifest, which is around 80 pages of notes at this point. And I go through and I periodically pick out different tasks that I feel are best going to elevate tactical arbitrage to another level. And I continually work on that as many hours as I possibly can every week to make sure that tactical arbitrage is constantly improving. So I don't know whether that's a point of difference to others, but our data is accurate, it's fast. We've got a new algorithm coming out that's going to make it, I can't give you too much information on it, but the new algorithm that's coming will make a lot of the title matched sites almost as accurate as the UPC matched sites. Now, UPC is a universal product code. So if you take a universal product code from Target and you match that over on Amazon, it's going to be a very accurate match. It's going to be the barcode on this and the barcode on this are the same, so it's probably going to be the same product. But when that barcode data is missing from your source site, and for about 2/3 of the websites of the 600, they don't have that UPC information, then we use title matching algorithms. Now, the title matching algorithms that have been provided to us by Amazon and from a couple of other places are reasonably poor. So we've spent 6 months working on a new algorithm to make the title matching accuracy significantly better. And our tests so far are really strong. So what we're hoping is that when we launch this, all of the title match sites will start to come up to being on a par with the universal product code, and then those 600 sites will be 600 valuable sites, and not just 200 valuable sites and 400 varying in how good they are between very good and average kind of thing. So It's a lot of data to give you, especially when you're asking newbie questions as to just what is tactical arbitrage. I'm getting into like the algorithms of the titles and stuff, but you probably just want some more of the basic stuff, like what does it do and how does it work, sort of thing.
Well, that piece, that would be so awesome. It'll save a lot of work. So that would be phenomenal once it's fully developed. But yeah, we kind of want to know the gist of it. And obviously, hopefully we can do a demo later so you can actually show us, that'd be awesome. But one of the questions is, how does the wholesale part work in tactical arbitrage?
Okay, so the wholesale part at the moment, what you do is, like, let's say you're in communication with a wholesaler and he's got a list of products. Most of these lists do have the universal product code. They also have titles. You can submit that CSV into tactical arbitrage and it'll match all of those items against Amazon, and it'll spit out the return on investment. So of course you'll have your buy price as well on your wholesale sheet. Like it might be $4 for, some what are those fidget spinners that are just coming out?
They're everywhere.
Amazon, they might be $12 or something, and
right.
Well, I'm sure the market's saturated. On Amazon now, they're probably about 50 cents now.
They're dirt cheap now. they're definitely plummeting. But that's awesome. Another question: are the 600 stores mostly in the U.S. or in Australia, or you have a mix?
So that the majority of the stores are in the United States. We do have about 120, I think, now for the UK. So we've got quite a strong presence in the UK now as well. The balance of the stores is spread out between Germany, Japan, Australia, and Canada. And I don't think there would be 100 between them. There wouldn't be 100 stores between them. But yeah, it's great if you live in a country like I live in Australia, and Amazon's actually not been launched here yet, but I'm adding those sites in there because in 2018 they are releasing their FBA platform, and so I'll probably get some of my family members involved on the side to run my FBA store using tactical arbitrage with the Australian contingent from here, because why not? I'll have my finger on the pulse before anyone because I got the software, so I might as well do it. So.
Exactly. Dan has a question. Dan wrote, what type of quantities are generally available? Can a buyer go deep very often?
So with wholesalers, usually you can go very deep. With stores, it really differs store to store. Like if you go to buy dozens of items on Walmart, they might say there's a limit of 6. Or if you go to buy 10 items on Target, they might say there's a limit of 3. But then you'll go to another one of our 600 stores, and once you actually get away from the major department stores, those limits don't tend to exist anywhere near as much. So you should be able to go a lot deeper. And it's important not to get bogged down in just trying to source from Walmart or just trying to source from Target. Obviously, that's a lot of people's go-to. And by starting there, you're kind of tripping over the other people that are doing the same. Whereas there's that entire landscape of 600 stores you can go out and many, many, many profitable deals in amongst those. So yeah, what type of quantities are available? Usually the limits are not too restrictive.
Right. I've got some questions here. So actually, how many people currently use tactical arbitrage, would you say?
We don't tend to give that figure away, but what I do is I keep a very close track on it, and I periodically close the doors if I feel like the rate.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to close it again? Because I know that happened. So anyway, go on.
I will be, but I'll follow up with that. So, okay. So what I do is I'm very conscious of not reaching a saturation point. Now the saturation point is kind of conceptual and subjective, and it's difficult to actually to say exactly what that saturation point will be. I mean, we've got hundreds of stores you can source from with dozens of categories on each, and millions and millions of products that you can look at. And there's so many that if I go and do a scan on, even with a long cache, it'll still give me live data because nobody has been there, and I can tell nobody's been there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be getting live results. Right. So there is a lot of uncharted territory in tactical arbitrage. Not only that, but you can use the reverse scan, the Amazon flips. We actually have in there now a thing called library scan, so you can do book sales through tactical arbitrage. You've got wholesale manifests, and we have also added the option to add your own sites. So if you've got another site over and above the 600 sites, so like you want to add a 601st site to Tactical Arbitrage, then as long as you can find a developer who knows a certain type of code, and it's fairly simple code, you can now manually add sites that are not already in Tactical Arbitrage. So that really means the saturation issue is a grey area. You can utilize it any way that you want to, and expand Tactical Arbitrage with your own sites if you want to as well. So we have not had a lot of people saying to us on our wall ever, this is saturated, I'm tripping over the same deals as other people, we're having races to the bottom. We just don't hear that. But anyway, I still periodically feel like the number of members has grown a bit. It's time to close the doors for a while. In that time that we're closed, we add a few more features, we add a lot more sites, and then by the time we reopen, we're even more confident that we're cushioning that kind of space, cushioning that kind of number of people.
Yeah, well, just to give you a real life example, we're actually able to find deals in the Disney store after only a few hours of doing it with like zero previous experience. So I think what you're doing is working. I get the method behind it, definitely.
Oh, great.
Maureen, we had another question. Where did you go, Maureen?
Now you're going to have everyone go and search the Disney store and
yeah,
you found.
I want a deal. She's obsessed with Elsa and Moana now, so that's like the big thing for Disney that we're finding.
We play Moana songs in the car all day long.
Oh, we know it. Word for word. She's belting in her car seat in the back. Both of us are actually. I'm belting in the car as well. But anyway, Maureen, you have a question. You said would love to know that developer, the recommended developer link was broken when I tried it.
For adding her own sites, is that correct?
I think that's what she means. When you were talking about finding a developer. There's a few in the space. On our wall, on the Tactical Arbitrage wall, there's a couple of people, who actually offer XPath coding services. There's one guy called Christopher Grant, another guy called Bob Steele. Excellent guys, but possibly your most cost-effective way would be to place an ad on Upwork, looking for somebody with XPath 1.0 coding skills, and then letting them try and add a few sites and run a few tests, and once they've broken the back of a couple, they should know from there how to continually add more. And some people add dozens and dozens of sites to their accounts, and I would assume that they largely source from their own personal sites because it's a single user on an entire site. So it's like a cornucopia of nobody else is fighting you for these products. So I think that's great to at least have a few of your own sites in your account over time. Right.
Oh, you asked when I'll be closing again.
Yes, that was my next question because I needed that.
Yeah, my plan at this point is it's not fair to close the doors on people at Q4 because they need Tactical Arbitrage a lot. But I do want to close for a portion of Q3. My beautiful wife has another baby on the way in September. We have another little one on the way. And I always get a little bit of breathing space when the doors are closed because the questions in the email slow down a little bit, the activity on the Facebook wall slows down a little bit, and people are kind of patiently waiting for me to reopen the wall. So I would assume that somewhere around August, I haven't locked it in yet. Okay. Somewhere around August, I'll probably be looking at closing for a while. We've got another round of promotions to do for a company called the Wholesale Formula, which is prior to that. But after that, I believe I'll be looking at shutting the doors for a good month, maybe double that. So I kind of got to be open for Q4, like I said. But yeah, it's going to be. I've got a lot to add to tactical arbitrage at the moment, and the best time to add all that stuff is while the doors are closed. So
yeah, no, that makes sense. I know we kind of touched upon it in a roundabout way, but I mean, is this tool? Would you say this tool is good for new sellers?
Yeah, I think so. I think the very first thing any new seller should do is establish all the guidelines and rules of the Seller Central account. I mean, tactical arbitrage isn't going anywhere. We're not going to be closing the doors tomorrow. So if you've got a brand new account, the first thing that I'd do is make sure that you understand the process of sending in a shipment, selling some items, and knowing kind of what happens. Learning how to read, say, a keeper graph is very important. If you don't know what a keeper graph is, you should definitely Google videos on Keeper and install the Chrome application. It's Keepa.
Yeah.
I work with those guys and speak to those guys a lot because we integrate some of the features of Keeper into the back end of our software. I think once you've got a basic understanding and you know that this online sales gig is for you, then the very next thing you want to do is be able to fill that FBA store and source products. And one of the fastest ways you can source products is by jumping into something like tactical arbitrage. And there's a free trial period when you first get started. Gives you time to sort of learn the software. And from there, you can start making buying decisions and from there. So I think it is good for new people. But at the same time, I think you should have an understanding of Amazon to proceed.
Before you get into it. Well, that leads to the next question, which is you said there's a trial period. How much is the cost?
So it's $99 a month to use it. That's going to change possibly before the time we close next, mainly because we've added so many extra features. We're going to be slicing off Amazon flips, slicing off wholesale, slicing off the book searching sections, and so they'll all be standalone options, but there'll also be the option to have the entire tactical arbitrage suite. Now, currently what you're buying and what every single person has is the tactical arbitrage suite. Now, when we do evolve the prices, whoever is in at the existing price, that will never change. We're not going to suddenly say it costs you more now. So you get grandfathered in at the existing price for the lifetime of your membership. So anybody who is a member now or has been a member, they don't have to worry about their price changing when we change the prices. That'll just affect new members at the time. But at the moment, as it stands, it's $99 a month, and there's just one option, which is the complete suite. And yeah, as I said, that's going to change probably within the next 6 weeks, I'd say.
Right. Okay. So for those of you who are selling, have experience on Amazon, you probably should sign up now. And I've posted the link below, so go for it. You got 6 weeks. I have a little bit more on. I would like to know more about how does the reverse ASAN work. So if you could give me a little bit of that.
Okay, so now this works in. It doesn't work exclusively, but it also does work in conjunction with another tool. And I noticed you're speaking with Nate McAllister last week. He's a really good guy. He's developed a tool called Storefront Stalker. So what you can do with Storefront Stalker, it's probably the best way to grab this, is you can go and grab a list of Amazon ASINs, or ASANs. I never know exactly what to call them, but ASINs. And you take these ASINs and you can inject those back into tactical arbitrage, and it will then go and navigate through the 600 stores that we've got and look for possible buying deals, profitable buying deals that are available right now and in stock right now that you may then decide to buy. So it's reverse. Instead of looking at the store and seeing whether or not you can sell it on Amazon, it looks at the list of Amazon ASINs and then goes and checks our store list to see whether or not there's any of those items available. Now, there's many ways you can get ASINs, but I feel like the most effective way is with the Storefront Stalker tool from Nate McAllister. And so I often suggest when you become a more serious tactical arbitrage member that you should also look at getting that add-on tool to use in conjunction with TA. So.
Yeah. Do you have any stories you can share for people who have been successful with the store?
I know some guys who use tactical arbitrage. I saw a post yesterday from a guy who said he would happily pay $1,000 a month for tactical arbitrage because his spend on tactical arbitrage from fines is $30,000 a month. So right. I really like getting that kind of validation back. Yeah. And I know he's not the biggest. I know there's guys out there who use TA to buy even like significantly more. The deals that they find from their wholesalers, not only from online arbitrage, but from the wholesale options, and from one guy's a really big bookseller. Mm-hmm. I know he uses tactical arbitrage in preference to some other softwares that are out there. So I did a little webinar yesterday, and I managed to find $99 worth of products in about 3 minutes. So I thought $99 worth of profit of products in about 3 minutes by doing a search on Walgreens. And I thought if I can just pick a random site and find $100 worth of product in a few minutes, then and I'm just like doing a little demo of the product. And this isn't like, I thought surely anybody using this will be able to get to a point. I've got an advantage because I know the software inside and out. I know what buttons to press to make it function properly. But I often kind of compare it to people going to college for 5 years to come out the other side after all that expense to go and get a $80,000 a year job. Whereas with a very limited amount of education, a couple of days of watching some training videos, you can get to a point that you're making profit on items in a very short space of time. So I had, once upon a time, I had a guy say to me, "What, you're telling me that I've got to like watch some videos to learn this, to use it?" And I'm like,
dude, that's all you have to do.
You've got to put a little bit of effort in. I'm putting the fishing rod in your hand. I'm not going to go catch the fish for you. I'll give you some advice on how to best use the fishing rod as well. But I can't sit there and help you get reel in the deals like one by one. You have to like put a little bit of effort in yourself. So.
Well, truly, Alex, your tutorials were great, and we were able to learn it within an hour or two. They were really well explained. So anybody who wants to do this, highly recommend watching his tutorials. They're very well done.
They're a little dated, some of them, because we keep evolving it. We keep putting in new features. So some of the earlier videos, you might not see some of the options on the videos, but I've held off on releasing the new series of videos because we're completely redesigning the look of tactical arbitrage. It was made to be functional, not pretty, but we've been working with some designers now to finally make it pretty. So we're going through and we're improving all the aesthetics of it and whatnot. And I figure there's no point making a whole bunch of new tutorial videos until that new interface is up and running, because once that new design's there, then we can make all the new videos for it, and it's going to give it that whole new fresh coat of paint.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I have one more question. Let's see. If this is from Iqbal. If I want to take 2 months off from tactical arbitrage, is that okay?
He wants to take a break.
I guess, a 2 month break off of TA. Is it?
Okay, so our membership software does not allow for pausing of an account, but we have recently released both the ability to download and re-upload a CSV file of all of your products. In fact, the CSV, you could actually now import a list that you bought off somebody of profitable items from 3 years ago, and Tactical Arbitrage will get you the most up-to-date information on those products and whether they're profitable today. So get all your old lists out and then re-import those, because you can now do that with TA. But in answer to Iqbal, he's going to have to download his saved folders, which, let's say he's got 5 saved folders of items. It'll only take a few seconds to do that. And then submit the cancellation. And what will happen is it'll give him until the end of the current billing cycle. And then when he's ready to come back to Tactical Arbitrage, he can sign back up. And if I've already changed the pricing by then, Iqbal, if you're a former member, you can just reach out to me on email. I'll see what I can do for you. So
that'd be great. Tan has a question. Tan, are you planning to add eBay Flip dropship anytime?
Yes. Yeah. So we already have for Amazon Merchant Fulfill setting, which changes all the fees between FBA or Merchant Fulfill. That's in the back end. You can adjust that yourself in the settings. But as far as eBay page goes, I just want to do it right. So the way to do it right for me is that if I'm running a scam of items that I want to sell on Amazon, I would like to also be able to see on that same page, here's your profit on Amazon. And by the way, if you sold it on eBay, here would be the profit too. And it's a fairly complicated algorithm because we can't just look at what the current auctions are or the current sales. We really need to dig back into an average of the 3 most recent units of that unit, an average price of the 3 most recent of that unit that have recently sold. And that is really the best way for me to get eBay functioning well for people, rather than try and work on existing buy it now prices or existing auction prices or anything like that. So we do have some stuff in the works for that. We're just trying to fine tune our wholesale page and elevate that a little more. And we're adding in estimated sales and a few other little features. And from there, we're going to segue into to the eBay side of things too. It's all about arbitrage. So
I'm gathering that eBay is just a lot more complicated than a regular store. Is that correct? Am I hearing that right?
It's like it probably isn't that hard for me to do a basic version of this. And I tend to hold off releasing the basic version. I'd rather have something with the additional functionality to elevate us into a pro space right off the bat. Okay. Jeremy Manuel's in the house, our arbitrage. Jeremy's a good guy. And so, yeah, eBay will come. Not only eBay, but eBay, Walmart sellers will benefit from the pages that we add, Jet sellers, etc. So we are expanding into multi-spaces. But for now, we're just getting Amazon right, and then we'll branch out using the platform that we've already established. So.
Okay, cool. I know you said a lot of the stores that you guys, the 600 stores, are predominantly in the U.S., so in the UK. What reach does Tactical Arbitrage have as far as, who can access it? Is it, Yeah.
Well, I started from Australia doing US to US. There's always options. There's fulfillment by Amazon prep and ship houses. There is one actually called FBA Prep and Ship in Oregon. Monica and Ben Coombs out there, fantastic people. It's 0% tax state. I also recommend Brendan Sullivan's Prime Zero Prep. He's in a 0% tax state, extremely efficient business. So you don't have to live in the States. I've also run a UK business from here in Australia too. I signed up for VAT, or they might just call it VAT, which is their tax system. It turns out that I didn't really need to do that because you can kind of get away, I think, with not registering for VAT if you're under a certain limit. But there is methods of operating in all of the countries. I've got a friend who sells in Japan using the Japan platform. So I don't think there's any limitations unless your country has some unusual tax restrictions. It should be fine. So.
Okay, cool. All right, let me just see. Does anybody else have any more questions, or do you have anything else that you'd like to talk about, Alex, that we didn't touch upon?
Well, there's some things I probably can't get into because there's some features coming out which I always run at the mouth and say all the new features that are coming, but there's some stuff I'm really trying hard to keep under lock and key. Recently, there has been a couple of other similar arbitrage style softwares being created, and I've noticed a lot of similarities in the interface and the code, and it made me think that I need to start releasing the new, need to keep some things sort of to my heart and just talk about them as I release them, because I give too much away. I get excited and I want to talk about what's coming, and so there is some cool stuff coming. I just think join my Facebook group, keep an eye on the wall. I talk about stuff as I release it regularly, and it's probably a good platform to be a part of for the news side of things. So.
And we will post your link to your group below so that everyone can join, access, and join, and ask you tons and tons of questions.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. I am so happy that you took the time to talk with us today, and I learned a lot. We always do. So yeah, thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate it.
No, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much. I appreciated you making some time for me, and we'll talk soon. We'll set up a webinar so that we can screen share and show some of these cool features.
Yes, that would be so awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, and have a good day.
Cheers. You too. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Bye.